One Book Down, The New Art of Word-of-Mouth Marketing by Dave Balter and John Butman, whatever. I'm not entirely sure that word-of-mouth marketing is a new art, but whatever, I'll roll with it. So there's not actually a whole lot of content in this book, but at the very least it doesn't try to stretch out that content so that it fills up your entire brain and they don't talk about it endlessly. It reads pretty quickly. I got through this in one day. The very nature of word-of-mouth marketing means that you can't really measure it or predict it or control it. And this book is not going to tell you how to do any of these things, which I guess is good. They're not lying to you, but they were pretty limited in how you can actually put these principles into practice if you are attempting to market a product. When I did my little intro, I talked about how this is from the founders of Biz Marketing. But I was determined to do absolutely no research into that company or what it does or why, because fuck it, I'm not doing extra research for this project. But that's okay, because the book told me the whole thing. Biz Marketing, at the time that this was made, basically asked for volunteers to get free samples of products, to then talk about those products with their friends and family, and email in reports of what kind of contacts they talk to people about stuff with. That's the impression I got. Mostly this is a research project to try and track how word of mouth gets around, what kind of situations, blah blah blah. This is a book written by marketers for marketers, and while it's really light, it's not hard to read. It does kind of make some assumptions about what your backgrounds in marketing are. For example, it would occasionally drop phrases without translating them, like impressions. How many impressions a campaign can get. And it's assuming a knowledge that I just don't have and don't really care about. I don't really need it for the book, but the book is definitely trying to break a mindset that marketers already have about what word of mouth is, and as a result, everything in this came across to me as amazingly common sense. Like, there's nothing shocking in here. What is shocking is apparently the things that did not occur to them. So there's a section in here basically about don't be afraid of negative word-of-mouth marketing. And they talk about how getting bad reviews, like Amazon reviews maybe, or one-star reviews, can sometimes bring out loyal customers who will say, hey, I didn't have any problems with that product. And while this is true, and a good thing to put in your marketing book, they never once, throughout the entire book, made the connection that a person who's going to look at word-of-mouth marketing as opposed to actual marketing copy to get information on an item is doing it in partly to see those negative reviews. Like, if I go somewhere and find a bunch of one-star reviews and a bunch of five-star reviews, and I read them, and they actually have, constructive information in them, they aren't just flame wars, then I'm going to come away feeling like I have a better idea of the product than any marketing copy could have given me. Because, let's be honest, the most honest producers of a product in the universe are not going to write an ad that says, it works great, it's fantastic, but if you hold it in your hands, it feels really cheap. It works fine. The materials just kind of feel cheap. You should spend money on this. When you go to your friends and family for an opinion on a device, this is why. And nowhere in the book does it mention that. It talks about other things. It talks about what buzz marketing means and why it doesn't work, which is good to know. It talks about what viral marketing is and why it doesn't work very well, and that's good to know. It talks about shill marketing, which is fascinating because it's got the weirdest and worst story. Shill marketing is when you literally hire people to pretend to not be working for you and recommend things to people in person. The creators of this book hate shill marketing. When they run down the buzz viral shill marketing list the very first time, they don't explain the buzz marketing or the viral marketing there, but they do take a moment to explain what shill marketing is and why it's odious, which is hilarious. And I didn't realize until the end of the book why. It's because they desperately need you to not associate shill marketers with their own biz marketing, BuzzFeed, buzz agents, whom they are hiring, sort of, with volunteer to go and talk up products. They desperately need you to not believe that. And I think they made a good case for it. If there's any thread that goes through the whole thing, it's that customers do not like feeling manipulated or lied to. Don't do it. You will get a negative reaction. And that's pretty nice. This book is not gonna change your mind about marketing. It's not gonna help you do too much. But it's an easy read, and pretty entertaining, actually. If it seems like I'm giving a good review to something that is not particularly useful, it's because this may be the second most readable business book I have read in the entirety of my experience in the summer reading program. This was light, it went fast, it had some mildly entertaining anecdotes, it didn't overstay its welcome, it didn't try to sell me on things that I believe to be untrue. It has a huge section of Biz Agent anecdotes at the end, and I read them because I am being paid by page count and I feel like I have to honor that. I did not read the index. I never read indexes. No one should ever read indexes. And, well, 214 pages down. Up next on the docket, trade-off. Why do some things catch on and other things do not? That was a decent paraphrase of this title. My arm still hurts a lot. I hope my honesty allows me to connect with you in a more significant way.